Hello everyone, welcome to the day 4 of Python series. In today's session, we'll be learning about conditional statements in Python. So let's see the agenda. First, we'll be talking about conditional statements in Python, that is if-else statements. Then we'll be also performing a hands-on on different conditional statements. So that's all with the agenda. Let's start with the session now. But before we begin the session, make sure to subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon so that you'll never miss any update from us.
Now let's take a look at conditional statements. So a conditional statement is basically a statement that allows you to change the flow of execution or the path of execution when a provided condition evaluates to either a boolean value of true or false. So suppose that we had some way of figuring out whether or not you're sick or you're healthy. So what happens is, let's say that you want to make a decision. First thing is we ask you, are you sick? So let's say that you are sick, then we would advise you to go to the doctor. But let's say that you are not sick. That means the condition whether you are sick or not evaluates to false. And then you can go out and play football, do whatever you want. This is where conditional statements come into play. And we encounter conditional statements every day during our lifetime. We have encountered conditional statements. I think you probably encountered conditional statements today as well. Waking up, when you're waking up, you decide whether or not to sleep for an extra 5 minutes, whether or not you are late for a meeting, whether or not to take a cab or a taxi or walk to the place that you work, whether or not to eat at one place. These are the kind of situations that allow us think of conditional statements in a more rational way. So this is what it looks like. We have many ways of doing this. One is the if else statements. So the statement looks like this. We have the if keyword. Inside that keyword, that's a condition. If that condition evaluates to true, then statements one and everything before the else statement gets executed. But if say the condition is false, then everything underneath the else statement will get executed. We'll look into it in more details when we are performing the hands-on, but right now just understand if the condition is true, then statements one is going to execute, and if condition is false, we'll execute the else statement, which is the statements two. Now, there are many ways you can construct an if statement depending on the logic that you're trying to build. You can construct a nested if else statement, you can construct if else and else if statements, you can construct a lot of different kinds of if else statements. So you're not limited to just use if and then else and then your conditional statement ends. You can use if this not true, then if this is true, then if this is true, then if this is true. Then you can take a look at a lot of conditions that way, or you can nest them one inside the other. That would work just fine as well. So now let's take a look at some conditional statements. Again, we have the same setup. We have an app.py file. Py is the extension for the Python executables or the Python scripts that we write. So to write it, let's first take a look at conditional statements. So there are a few keywords that we use in conditional statements. Keywords like if, else, and elif, which is short for else if. So let's take a look at this. So let me define a number named x and it's equal to 20. Now if I check if x is less than 20, then I will print x is less than 20. Else, and now else print x is not less, or you could say x is greater than 20. So
If you want to make a career in data science, then Intellipaat has IIT Madras Advanced Data Science and AI Certification Program. This course is of very high quality and cost effective, as it is taught by IIT professors and industry experts.
now this is a statement, but it's a little incorrect. I mean, it's not incorrect in the way the syntax is structured. So if I write this, it says x is greater than 20. And we know that's not true because x is not greater than 20, it's actually equal to 20. This is where the else if statement comes in. So we can add multiple conditions and attach code to it that will execute when one of the conditions satisfied. So if I type elif, x is equal to 20, and remember to put two equals, mainly because we're not assigning a value, we're trying to check whether or not a condition is correct. Print x is equal to 20. Where on this again is correct. So this is where if, elif, and else come into play. If for condition, and a conditional statement will always start with if, not with elif, and neither will it start with an else. Then we'll check, okay, if this is not true, else, if this is true, then do this, and if this is true, then do this. Make sure that you understand that only one of these statements will get executed. So in no condition will it happen that this will also get executed and this will also get executed. So if I were to do x is less than, and if I run this, it's still going to execute the first statement, which is x is less than 20, even though the second statement is also true. So make sure that you understand that. And now let's take a look at nested else if. So, so this is what it looks like. Again, I could have made the same mistake. I could have just put equal and that would have caused an issue. Now, nested else if basically means an if statement, and I want to check if x, let's say x is less than 20 and is less than 15 as well, and I put it 10. So I will print something out there as well. X is less than 15, and I can type in else, again write some code. X is greater than 15, and finally else. X is greater than 20. So if I run this, x is less than 10, 20, and x is less than 15, which is true. Now if I were to give it a value something between 15 and 20, x is less than 20 but is greater than 15. So what's going on here? Let's take a look at the path of execution. We assign a value of 17 to x. We check this condition. We check if x is less than 20. It is less than 20. We go down. We print x is less than 20. We go down. We check x is if it's less than 15. It's also true. So we go down and we print this. We skip over these statements because one of the conditions has evaluated to true. We go down here, and since that condition has also evaluated to true, it's fine. But now if I type x is equal to 21, what do you think will happen? Just one statement gets printed because it comes here, sees if x is less than 20. Well, x is not less than 20, so it just skips over everything inside if and moves to else and prints that, and it's done. So this is where nested if statements and else if statements come into play. You can nest it really deeply, but your code becomes really difficult to read. If you can you can do it like this as well. If x is greater than 15 or something like this, and then again underneath that you can type another if, but it makes your code really difficult to read. So make sure that you understand the trade-offs when you're using if and else if statements.
If you want to make a career in data science, then Intellipaat has IIT Madras Advanced Data Science and AI Certification Program. This course is of very high quality and cost effective, as it is taught by IIT professors and industry experts.